welcome everybody. My name is Kat Goffin. I'm the Associate Curator of Collections here at Cranbrook Art Museum, and I'm also one of the curators of the exhibition upstairs, How We Make the Planet Move, the Detroit Collection, Part 1. So the exhibition is a debut of our newly concretized Detroit collection, which features art from individuals living and working in the Metro Detroit area from the 1960s through to today. Over the past decade, Cranbrook has been working more and more with creatives in Detroit, not only in the fine art world, but across multiple creative spheres with our musical programming, collaborations with local dancers, the opera, and beyond. And I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out Lilac Atelier for their fabulous work in all of those spheres. So when titling the Detroit Collection exhibition, it made sense to draw from another creative pool that Detroit has to offer: poetry. Much has been written about Detroit, whether it be from its native poets or others looking in, taking inspiration from our special creative hub. After much reading, listening, scrolling through YouTube poetry slams, I found a stanza that encapsulates all that we're feeling about Detroit and our collection of its work in Jessica Care Moore's A Poem Saved My Life, an homage to Detroit. So I'd like to read just a stanza from that for you guys. Because the art is never in the artist. It's in the people that inspire the artist's work. So don't write eulogies for Detroit. No uninspired folk song of gloom. Some of us are coming home to show the world how we make the planet move. Today, Cranbrook is excited to further collaborate with local talents for this Detroit Poetry Showcase. The special partnership with InsideOut Literary Arts will showcase some of Detroit's finest youth and adult poets for this reading, celebrating all things Detroit. So for a bit more about Inside Out, I'd like to welcome Elisa Lucy, Community Partnership Director. Thank you, please.
All of you. Thank you so much to Kat. Huge thank you to Lila for putting this event together so beautifully. We've been partnering for the last couple of months to imagine what this could look like, and I think you're all going to really be pleased with how this all comes together. I'm going to give you a tiny bit of background about Inside Out Literary Arts. If you don't know us and love us already, you will after this afternoon. This is our 30th anniversary year, which is a big milestone for us. We were founded in 1995, and our mission is to inspire young people to think critically, create bravely, and share their voices. And you're going to get to hear 4 of our amazing young people do that this afternoon. We do in-school programming, after-school programming, as well as community partnerships like this one. And if you want to find out more about us, please go to our website, sign up for our newsletter, check out our events page. I do want to do a quick promo for an event that we have coming up very soon. It's called Poetry Con, and it's an incredible undertaking. It takes place at Wayne State University. It's an all-day workshop and open mic series for young people 13 to 19, followed by a public event that is open to anybody to come to. You can find more information on this flyer, which I'll have, and so seek me out anytime during the program today or after. If you know any teens who you think would be interested, registration is still open, and I highly recommend it. It's a completely free event, and kids just have an incredible time. So come and find me if you have any questions about that event or anybody from Inside Out who's here today. Okay, I had something else I was going to say, and I lost it. But I'm just super pleased to be here. If you haven't had a chance to see the exhibit, it is jaw-droppingly good. So after today's performance, please go check that out. And I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our hostess with the mostest, LaShaun Phoenix Carteron, who is going to seamlessly and beautifully take you through the rest of the afternoon. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to say. We do have an open mic today, so if you are interested in reading a Detroit poem, it can be a poem by a Detroit author, it can be a Detroit-themed poem, it can be an original poem, or something that you just particularly love that references Detroit in some way or is by a Detroit poet. Feel free to sign up. Each poet will read one poem. We have sort of a short open mic. And then at the end of the open mic, we will have a Q&A. So as you're listening to people read their work and talk about their work, think about questions that you might have for them about their creative process or about anything else. And we'll do that to close out today's program. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for being here today. We're so excited for this Detroit Poetry Showcase.
Detroit, Rock City, show your, oh, this is a nice crowd. I'd never even looked back. Give yourself a round of applause for being in the room. This podium feels so much fancier than what I usually do as a host. I'm often much more ratchet. Give it up for InsideOut Literary Arts. Show them some love. And also give a round of applause to the team at the Cranbrook Art Museum. Give them some love as well. Detroit has been my home for the past almost 49 years. I've had some stints in some other cities, but Detroit is where I've been born and raised. It is the heartbeat of Michigan for me. The steel and grit of this city has informed my life, and so I'm delighted, especially after speaking to Miss Lila today, I'm delighted about what Cranbrook is doing in celebrating Detroit art and Detroit artists and the powerful commitment that they have to making spaces like Cranbrook Art Museum more inclusive. They might not be able to say it, but I can, and it's nice to be a Black woman in this space. So please give it up to the Cranbrook Art Museum and all of the staff that are working here. We have an exceptional show for you tonight. We've got some very seasoned artists that are coming to take the stage. That's my small jab as to call them old. Ageism doesn't exist, but they old, okay? And then we got my babies that I'm so proud of that are gonna make their coach really proud today. You see my babies up there? They saw their picture. Y'all made it. Y'all made it. Y'all made it. Okay, look, Ma, no hands, right? We made it, right? So this first artist that's coming to the stage, I love one of the things that Inside Out often allows me to do is to get to this money with my friends. And so it is so nice to invite this first artist up to the stage. She is a mighty, mighty fireball, filled to the brim with art and energetic energy that she brings to the stage. She is a delight. I don't know if this podium can hold her because she might need to come in. I mean, you know, sound people, thank y'all so much. She might actually need to use the, cordless mic because this might be covering her up too much. She has that much, but she might destroy y'all property, okay? We can't afford this, okay? But she is a powerhouse. She's an author of a book, I Love Myself More. She's a slam champion, a teaching artist here for Inside Out Literary Arts. She's a Black mama, a Black artist, a powerhouse. Please give it up for my sister, Galaxy, as she takes the stage. Take that energy all the way up. Let everybody on Woodward know that you're here. Come on, man.
What up, though? Happy Black History Month. 2/22, all those things. I'm so happy to be here. I don't even know what I think about coming up after the stage after Phoenix introduced me because it's like she set the bar so high. I'm like, I don't know. Okay, if you love Detroit, say what up. What up? Okay, I had to check, So I'm so happy to be here. I am actually born and raised from Detroit, and something I know I don't have a lot of time, and I'm about to squeeze in 2 poems real quick, but I just got to tell y'all something real quick. I love Detroit so much. I travel all around the country, and every single time I go, I always take Detroit with me. I have a airport uniform, okay? I have on a Calvin Johnson jersey and a Detroit versus everyone hoodie, Detroit versus everyone hoodie. So when I get off a plane, I don't care where I'm at. I showed up to Africa, and I'm like, where I'm from? Y'all see it? Y'all see it? I love to let people know. So being invited today is just like amazing. So a couple years ago, does anyone know what the Lip Bar is? Yeah. Okay, has anyone heard of Glamaholic lifestyle? Yes. Okay, so if you have not, that's fine, because I'm about to give y'all a little quick history lesson in this poem. But they are 2 Black women powerhouses from Detroit, and they both have made over $1 million just becoming female bosses. And if you don't know who the Lip Bar is, you probably do know, because they went on Shark Tank. Shark Tank told them no, and they put up billboards all over Detroit that was like, you said no, right? I'm a millionaire, all Targets, all everywhere. Okay, so they inspired me to do this first poem. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna do this first poem, and then I'm gonna do 1 poem, and then I'm out of y'all way, okay? So this one's dedicated to my D-girls. It's called D-Girls Always Do It Better. Sometimes you have to be around the world to understand that D-girls always do it better. We are success, standing taller than the Ren-Sin, the 5-minute millionaire, revolutionizing the art of selling, defining Black luxury. Our D-girls wear G's, empowering women to be addicted to the glam. Even our Black girl minimum is a step above them. It's our spirit, so ingrained in the D that even our statue has its arms outstretched. So it's no surprise that our women help other women reach the top next. D-girls are brilliant and bougie. It's our looks, our lips, setting the bar. We turn no's into shark bait, because growing up in a Shark Tank, you don't need validation. You got the sauce, and they don't even like flavor. They don't know colors, fashion. We business better, bringing fast faces to national Target locations. It's our unmatched determination. Black girls becoming bosses, hair laid, self-made, self-paid. We changed the game. We set the trends. They just follow them, because D-girls always do it better. Okay, so this poem that I'm about to share with you all today, I actually wrote this poem for this event today. And it felt really good writing, because I have been meaning to write just a Detroit poem. And so I get to share that with y'all. Also, if you would like to follow me on Instagram, please come see me after, and I do have books available, okay? When I say I'm from Detroit, I mean, I know the password to the questions we ask imposters to determine how Detroit you really are, which is to say, I'm from the West Side, the best side. I am every inch of my city but Dexter, to be exact, because I told my ex that I would shout out our hood when I finally made it big, and these days everything I do is pretty big. And I'm from a city where people keep their word and believe in you before anyone else could, where if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And I don't know much about a concrete jungle, but I do know about a frozen tundra, a marvelous mitten that I am made from. I'm from, but do you got an island in your city? A city in your city? An international border that we don't have to battle over? I'm from a city where it's only 2 people in the world, those who went to Cass and those who wish they went to Cass. And I am a proud graduate of Northwestern High School. Because I've always been the best of both worlds type of girl. I'm just made better, better made, which means I'm safe and good for you, kind of like food grade. I am a Carhartt cutie, a Glamaholic glamorous. I am a sensation so sweet that I might actually call the street Losser, just instead of Lasher, just so you can see the places that I be. When I say I'm from Detroit, what I mean is I am Ford Field, and no lying, I've been a Lions fan longer than I can remember, but when I saw saw Calvin Johnson touch that stadium, I knew I could never turn my back on my team, so I learned what it means to have patience. So when I say I'm from Detroit, I mean I understand how it feels to play the field, to run after my goals, to chase something that other people will never be able to catch, to stretch my body, to become the best version of myself, to live every day like a legend in the making, to believe in things that other people think are impossible. I am Motown meets Tiffany Massey, the smile of Phil Simpson, the fly that Sheefy always paints about. I am grind. I am grit. I am greatness. So when I say I'm from Detroit, just know I'm telling you because this city made me. Thank you.
Give it up for Galaxy. Show her some love. Conversely, that is exactly how you open a show. Well done. This next artist coming to the stage, I was just commenting on how we have been friends until we became older. It has been interesting to watch this dynamic artist process, to watch him be kind of nervous and shy when he got on the microphone, to pinning all of the tales of his Detroit experience, and then turning that into a lucrative business of pinning the tales of all Detroiters through the Metro Times. Con Davison has captured the stories of so many people in this city. And not only has he captured those stories, he's captured their weddings, he's captured graduations, the moments of the heart, the moments that matter, the most meaningful moments to the city. If Con isn't there, then you don't know about it. And so I'm thrilled and excited to bring this author, father, photographer, brother, husband, friend, leader, Kresge Grant winner. I mean, like, his accolades span far beyond his genius, to my friend of well over a decade. We might be close to 2 decades at this point. Please give it up for my friend and yours, Con Satori Davison. Show him some love. Take that all the way up. Love is free.
What up, though? And so, I was raised by my grandparents, and I have a lot of love for particularly everybody, of age, and people that came from that Great Migration era. Both my grandparents that came here from the South, and I always talk about how, they came here, each one of them only knew one person here. And so you have this collection of people from the South that's just trying to figure it out. Who's hiring? What can they get room and board at? And they're doing all this within the aspect of racial redlining, within people that won't hire them because of their color. So it was a lot going on. And my grandparents maintained these same circle of friends that they had met when they first got here. And so one of my favorite stories I'm going to read this poem about was he had a friend named Mr. Clemens. And Mr. Clemens had got Alzheimer's disease. Not Alzheimer's, but Parkinson's disease kind of early on. But during his time at the plant, Mr. Clemens was like that guy, like everybody's guy to go to figure something out. And so it was this beautiful thing is where when my grandfather would have a problem with a car, he would call Mr. Clemens on the phone and go pick him up. And Mr. Clemens would just sit there on the porch and tell my grandfather what to do. Because the Parkinson's prevented him from fixing the car. And he would say, all right, Bob, grab a Phillips head, what do you see? I see this. Okay, unscrew that and put that there. Now what do you see? And I'm sitting on the porch, 10 years old, like, man, this is, half in awe, but the other half not really paying attention because I'm 10 years old. But as I've gotten older, because this happened every month, because this particular car was, it was. So I watched this cycle repeat itself. So, Mr. Clemens. Mr. Clemens' hands shook like a rusty staircase rail, avoiding collapse, while my grandfather, staring at confusion inside of the popped hood of his 81 Chrysler New Yorker, leaned on Mr. Clemens' guidance, hoping this eroding carburetor had a few more thousand miles of air left in its lungs. He followed the pointed wiggle of Mr. Clemens' index finger, like a bass player following the lead of a conductor. The 4-year-old New Yorker had always been a big crybaby, an alternator one day, a failed ignition the next. And I'm sure on this fall day, Mr. Clemens knew this New Yorker was on life support, but my grandfather was his friend. And though Mr. Clemens could barely write his name, he always answered my grandfather's ring with a, "Okay, come pick me up, Bob, we'll get her running." I didn't know Mr. Clemens before the Parkinson's set in. Tall, slender gentleman with a trauma surgeon's hands, who was everybody's go-to guy at the plant on Jefferson. I wasn't born when him and my grandfather were cutting rugs with fine dames at Sonny's Cocktail Lounge, when good times meant overtime and bonus pay, and bad times meant picket lines and layoffs. I was only around and able to catch a ride on the last few miles of their solidarity, sitting on the porch, watching two old men trade Detroit plant stories while fixing the car that needed too much fixing. The New Yorker made it through another winter, and Mr. Clemens passed away the following spring. One morning, a few months later, my grandfather bought a new car. Thank you.
We are going to have Khan come in and teach us a workshop. That was an exceptional poem. Please give it up for Khan Davison. Wow. Okay. This next artist that's coming up to the stage, much like, okay, first let me say this. The views expressed by LaShawn Phoenix Moore do not necessarily reflect those of InsideOut Literary Arts, Cranbrook Art Museum. This is just Phoenix. So much like Obama is always going to be my president, this next artist is always going to be my poet laureate. I said what I said, okay? This artist, I have had an opportunity to see her in her younger years, in her 20s. We older, more seasoned, and to see the woman that she has become, the brilliant poet, author, educator, activist. I remember telling her, she always like, "Phoenix, like chill on the introductions. You always trying to make me cry before I get on the stage." But the thing is, I heart Detroit artists. And when you have the opportunity to bump into Black women who don't live up to stereotypes of divisiveness, Black women who pull each other up. It's not a hand out, it's a hand up, who is equal parts brilliant, equal parts cackle and ratchet. I love this woman. She will always be my president, my Michigan Poet Laureate. My love. Please give it up for the beautiful Nandi Comer. Show her some love.
I'm still quite teary-eyed. Thank you, Phoenix. I have so much to say, and I only have 5 minutes. I'm just going to get into it. Last fall marked my 30th year with Inside Out. I don't think you guys understand. Like, I was a child, I was a high school student when I walked into the founder, Terry Blackhawk's classroom. And she invited me to write a poem in response to literature. And ever since then, I have been forever changed. And so I cannot talk about my poetry life without thinking about Inside Out. And so I am so grateful to the organization. And every time they ask me, I'm just like, what do you need? Whatever you want. You got me, if I'm available. I also want to say, Detroit writers run shit. It is no surprise to me. Like, I was very shocked when I was selected as Michigan Poet Laureate, but it was not a surprise to me when they selected Dr. Melba Joyce Boyd as the next Michigan Poet Laureate. That was announced this week. She is our new Michigan Poet Laureate. She was an eminent artist Kresge Award winner. Another Detroit woman is holding it down for Michigan. So, and when they talk about Detroit, outside of Detroit, they call us the Detroit School. They know that we are defining poetics in a way that no other city is doing. They call us our own, like, educational thing. So when we talk about celebrating Detroit, we celebrate such richness. This poem I'm reading is a work in progress. I feel like I just wanted to read something really, really fresh and new. I'm working on a crown of sonnets. I'm going to read a couple of poems from that crown of sonnets. And it's thanks to GMAT Cash, but also thanks to those people who shut down the lodge and were screaming, "We on the lodge with it." Children of Malice. No corner doo-wops, no four-top harmony. We were never children of Motown, and our fathers were not factory men. They did not screw bolts or weld metal sheets or fasten part into part into part into a car creeping off the line into middle America. We never picked up a company discount. They bought their cars used or new or from a third cousin looking to slide into an upgrade. Our fathers were thick-knuckled, shiny-palm vets back from the war with pensions and trained electricians and engineers and teachers. They purchased their cars off the lot at sticker price. 2. They bought cars off the lot, sticker price, no credit. We borrowed our uncle's glossy Altimas or wide Suburbans or beat-up Intrepids, vinyl interiors still pristine clean. We every hot summer day made flawless seats a burn thread on our thighs. Summer asphalt shimmered like our river. We hit sharp turns so hard our heads tilted out the window as humid breeze grazed our foreheads. Through the sticky fog of our city, we headed downtown to Jefferson, past Hart Plaza, past Harbortown. We got caught in the drag and stop and go traffic, unbothered. We U-turned and U-turned and U-turned. 3, traffic, unbothered. We U-turned and U-turned and U-turned, going up and down the same hot strip to people watch and be watched. 2 cops with bullhorns and curfew ordinance blocked our aimless drift. Say it's time, but we weren't ready for home. We cruised the side streets. We were not Motown's children. When we rode, we piled our friends in back seats. We raced to Belle Isle. All anyone in Detroit wanted on a 7-degree day was to cruise our island. We coast the curves to Grand Boulevard, from east side to west, past Motown Museum, past the empty Packard plant, and straight over to our wide white bridge. I'm not gonna read all 10 sonnets, just so y'all know. 5, our island. The Monte Carlo cliques, sleek Challenger hotties who've parked their motor monuments to, Our island, the Monte Carlo cliques, sleek Challenger hotties who've parked their motor monuments at angles to the street, car doors and hoods propped open, showing off custom interiors, retrofitted doors, or muscle engines. The island is so loud with everyone's sound cranked, vibrating bass shakes cars trunk to hood. Canada geese and their small beaked goslings wobble through the massive display. We swing past the giant slide. We see the sweat-slick faces of kids and adults bobbing up and down the wave of that enormous rainbow. We consider unclicking our seatbelts, running up the stairs. 2 more parts. Police say don't fish in Southwest. No firecrackers, no workers, not even the dilapidated artist lost for a friend. We won't be able to chill anywhere near the river without cops pulling up, asking us if we live there, shining their lights in our front seats, or pulling us out of our cars and forcing us to sit on the curb while they run our plates. After work, we skirt off. We drive our stick-shift Camaros, our drop-top Mustangs, our slate gray Challengers, used, new, hand-me-downs. If our cars aren't allowed in suburban dream crews, we coast 7 Mile or Fort Road or Verner. Maybe we chill still. Fort Road, Verner, maybe we chill still. We drift down a freeway ramp into the quiet pocket of Johnsey Lodge. We line up 5 deep, blocking all the lanes and shoulders. We slow and stop behind us. The traffic begins to clog. Headlights stack up all the way back downtown. It feels like we have all of Detroit held up. Parked dead in the middle of the highway. We light up the pavement, the current of our cars and interior spin. We on the lodge with it. We on the lodge with it. We on the lodge with it. Thank you.
Give it up for my friend Nandi Comer. Your next poet is your host, LaShawn Phoenix Moore. This poem, no, I know everything about LaShawn Phoenix Moore. She's been here a long time. She hopes to be here a long time. She's been doing this a long time, okay? This piece is called Detroit, City I Love, City I'm From, after David Blair. You have always been a trendsetter. From the finest automobiles to the richness of your sound, you have been sanctuary to souls weary from 15-hour shifts in plants where pistons fire overtime checks, making happy wives twirl supremely in new clothes, new homes, new lives. You are so rich and black and poor and black and gritty and black. You affect everything you touch, and everyone is watching you. The phoenix who constantly emerges from the ashes more youthful and resilient than ever, always burning and rebuilding, burning and rebuilding, burning with the need to be more than something envied and then abandoned. Your brokenness pillaged and gentrified by folks who want to make you shiny new, as if your black bottom hasn't birthed a nation. Detroit, you stole my heart. You fill my nostrils, breathe into me steel and fire, and so much hope for better days when I feel safe enough to brighten your doorstep again. I'm suburban now. Your streets are much wilder than they were when my 20s roared as loudly as your Tigers did in 35, 45, 68, and 84. Your streets ain't safe no more. Your streets ain't safe no more when youth are presented with closed schools and failing social systems that make abject poverty seem like unattainable wealth. Tensions skyrocket like auto insurance, and healthy only means someone is alive, and everyone is dying to be alive around here. Meanwhile, Gilbert World boasts of a glorious resurrection downtown, and young inner-city millennials recycle the same rage as their ancestors did in '67. Detroit, you shake my foundation. Your vacant homes and empty tills, ruin porn for hipsters that think they know you but merely exploit your rise and fall like Shakespearean lore. I am suburban now. And you are Big Mama's house where family secrets never pass the front door, where God is always blessing and the next miracle is only a prayer away. Detroit, I believe in your come up. You black mecca of culture and fashion and art and food and resurrection. There's something in the water, energy in the water, ancestors in the water. Baptize me again in your waters. Flush out the false sense of security, sharpen my edges anew, straighten my back with iron fortitude, cleanse my soul, and remind me that no matter where in the world I am, you are always home. Thank you. The next artist, thank you so much. The next artist coming to the stage right now will be a part of our youth performance troupe. This is one of the proudest youth performance troupes that I've had the opportunity to coach. I have been coaching a long time. I have been with Inside Out since my boss was my student. Let that be a lesson to you old people. These kids will start telling you what to do, okay? So this first, and these young people who are getting ready to come up to the stage have not only told me what to do, they've sharpened me as an artist. It's been iron, truly sharpening iron. I've learned so much about community and brilliance and vibe, and we gon' make it. I am inspired as an older seasoned poet of what the future is going to hold if my babies are the ones that are holding the line. And so the first artist that's coming to the stage is the poet that I pray for the most in our group. My God. This one is a wild one. Powerful, outspoken, activist. You will see this name in lights. they might have their hands up in lights as well. We often feel like we need security when we have her because she speaks a lot of truth to power. I wish that I would have been as bold at her age. I am learning to be bolder because of her. Please give it up for my baby, Jordan. Show her some love.
Hello, everyone. So for some context about myself, and a big reason why Phoenix always has a semi-heart attack when I come on the stage is I was born and raised in Beirut, Lebanon. And they like to take away our land. Not nice. Not nice. If you see someone taking away land, tell them stop and that it's not nice, to put it gently. So in my love letter to Detroit, it was more so an honor to the city that protected me when my city no longer could. Dear Detroit, I don't believe we have properly met. I never took the time to introduce myself. I often fear you will not appreciate me the way I do you. I know you're more than the industrialization manufacturing capital like others say. I met you in nostalgia, and you know you are so much more. I met your water, and it took me back to the Aase. I smelled your alleyways of Midtown and recalled my grandparents' home. I learned your history with French and trust. We are not Lillabon, just as you are not Detroit. I met your population density and fell for your city the same way I did Beirut. I saw your street performers with their buckets as drums, and I heard the festivals of Saida. I see your community, and I tear up remembering mine. I taste your diversity, and I feel my rekindled spirit. I know you, Detroit, better than you know me. I know you just keep getting better and better. I love you, Detroit, for all that you are, and all that you may never understand of me. Sincerely, the diaspora of Arab, queer, frightened, and minority you protect as strangers.
Give it up for Jordan. Jordan, I will be cash apping you. You were the first one to do it, so I see it, you did it. Just sit down. We know what it is, okay? One more time for Jordan. Show her some love. This next artist that's coming up to the stage, one of the things that I love about this artist is that they were frightened when they do things afraid. They are the poster child of do it scared. It is not enough. Fear has not been enough to stop them from moving forward. Having watched this artist over the last year, trembling when they got to the stage, nervously smiling when they're going through a mic check, but then delivering punch by punch with their work. Anaya has been called upon to speak truth to power for what Inside Out should continue to do. She's spoken about upcoming projects where her opinion on how art is being showcased in this city matters. She is the pride of her mama, who I'm surprised is not, oh, she is, okay, all right. I stand corrected. I said the pride of her mama, who also sits in every audience and cries as she sees her baby get on this stage and take her wings. By way of the fact that I am a phoenix, I only attract phoenixes. You are a wild, wild one. I'm grateful to be your coach. Please give it up for my baby, Anaya. Show her some love.
Hi, everybody. my name is Anaya, also known as Hitting. That's my stage name.
And today I have a poem about Detroit, of course. But it's like I have some mixed feelings because I don't usually go outside as a lot of teens do, especially at my age. A lot of teens, they're like going everywhere, you know? But I stay at home, okay? And I know there's nothing wrong with it, but it's also like I need to experience what life truly is at this age. And I don't want to look back and be like, man, I should have did this at like 16 when I'm 25. So
25, that's so...
yeah. It's not old, but guys, okay, guys. I mean, okay, guys, okay. So, this poem didn't have a title at first, and it didn't have a title for a very long time, but I took the time to really think about it, and I titled it Beauty. Detroit, I'm sorry I didn't like you at first. I wasn't too fond of your bumpy roads and loud music that kept me up at night. The wars at school I had to endure made me unaware of the beauty you hold beyond those beige walls. I apologize for letting my anger turn your bright shades black and white, but now I see the colors that were always in front of me. Your vibrant blue rivers and neon-colored graffiti lit a pathway for me, guiding me through dark nights. Your city lights, freeway tunnels, and boarded-up beauties showed me that love can be beautiful no matter how it may look. The love you give and receive makes the whole state wish they could be like you. But they can't, and they won't, because Detroit, you are beautiful. Thank you.
Give it up for my very old 16-year-old looking to get to the ripe old age of 25, Anaya. Show her some love. That was very cutesy, very mindful, very demure, okay? This next artist that's coming to the stage, one of the things that I love about her and that frustrates me a little is that she's the smartest person that I know, like on planet Earth. Her brilliance, her dedication to art of all genres is insane, from being a musician, visual artist, poet, advocate for visual arts in the world. I mean, like, this girl is going places. And to know that she is now an alumni of InsideOut Literary Arts, like when she starts going out here winning all these awards, please hashtag us because we need the notoriety. We will become more beautiful, more brighter, more recognized because of the talent that you bring to the stage. So without further ado, this very, very smart woman, my baby, Jessica Lee. Show her some love.
Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Oh, wow. Okay. So, I wrote a poem about, and I'm sure, I mean, with the light of the recent presidential election, I think we all were watching that. And regardless of where you stand on that topic, I remember there was a debate in which Trump says, if Kamala was president, the rest of the country would look like Detroit. And I remember, regardless of what you feel politically, that stings as a Detroiter, right? Because our city is beautiful, and so many people talk down on it. So my poem is called, Hey Detroit, so what if the rest of the country looked like you? I think I would like that. Hey Detroit, so what if the rest of the country looked like you? I think I would like that. Oh, my Motown records, dear Motor City, I'm well aware I ain't in my prime, and you weren't either. The suburbite state, you never made it past your acclaimed fame, that industries have moved out. The once oh so bold name we claimed has diminished into a lousy farce that was squashed like a June bug in the humid Michigan heat. Oh, dear Detroit, now you a land of highways. You got lost in the name of a paved road. I drive down 375 and think about the wealth that once existed in the column. As that green light shines in my weathered face, the Rouge River runs divided through my mind. Among the night walkers that crawl beneath the limelight and sell their fate. On that Route 16 D-dot, as a man prays for what's on the other side of those double-sided doors. After they sold us out, after leaving us astray. Oh, my dear Detroit, my home and hearth and haven, I trace you down to your dirty roots in my own family tree. But I find hope embedded between the benches that accompany anti-homeless architecture and sleep in between the cracks of your bureaucracy. Oh, dear Detroit, you remind me of what it's like to be a little girl. As the sun caresses my damp skin, beams of light dance across my shoulder blades, plum cheeks sprinkled with blush flatter me till I'm tickled pink. This blistering heat forces me to surrender my pride, wave a silk handkerchief for my ego. White flight left corners vacant, no cloth to surrender. From 8 Mile to Jefferson as I wondered, is this what they call blight? Hold on tight, this fight will last all summer. No sign of an end from the Ontario border, horizon stretching from bank to bank. Oh, my dear Detroit, I love you, but I fear you might love me too, because I paint the city and make you more colorful than you could ever imagine. Thank you.
Aren't my babies so good, right? Give it up for Jessica Lee. The last of our youth performance artists, this young poet reminds me a lot of myself, someone who is very hungry to make a life better than the one that they are in, and they don't know that the life that they're in actually isn't really that challenging. But one of the things that me and this artist share in common is that we're constantly trying to destroy the perfectionism construct. We don't need to be perfect people. Us being imperfectly perfect still sort of works out slightly perfectly for us. And so we're trying not to be young women who feel the pressure of always doing it in excellence, even though our mindset is to do it in excellence. We give ourselves a little more grace. This artist is brilliant, funny, has a beautiful sense of humor and style. She keeps the balances in our crew. She's the heartbeat of it. Most of us are pretty ratchet on the team. She's the one who tells us to collect ourselves. So please put your hands together for my very calm, get yourself together, baby, Faithful. Show her some love as she glides.
Oh my goodness. Hey, y'all. I know you too. Yeah. So I wrote this poem just from my view space of what Detroit is like from how I was young and all the way up until now where I'm 17. So this poem is entitled, okay. Okay. This poem is entitled, Don't Speak on My City. Yes. Don't speak on my city if you haven't breathed it. The streets run up my veins just like the 99-cent honey buns. A liquor store on every street corner, huddled up crackheads and pots. We know you own that stuff, but we also know that the streets were the last ones to hug you. Vacant lots that used to be bustling homes stir your soul years ago. Great aunties and uncles finger point at the closed down schoolhouses and playgrounds saying they could easily take the run down abandoned houses and make them into magic. but their dreams rest on hungry stomachs and bad kids running around my city of Detroit. We make sure all kids have heads in books, seeking refuge and education because you are a star somebody in the name of Detroit. You are going to college. You are bound to endless everythings. 9 p.m. Coney dogs with a piping pop, Pepsi, or Coke in the middle of my city. Motown, trumpet, trombone, saxophone in my city. Peeper mover, welcome to the station. You see the river glistening right under my city. Detroit has so many biographies in our straight-claimed river that you can't talk about the gentrification without referencing the Riverwalk. And you can't speak on the Riverwalk without a Slurpee from 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven card ride home on sweaty nights. Fish flies while we rap a bar from bar Eminem verse to singing a Skilla Baby smooth beats. I don't get home until 11 p.m. in my city, and I still kiss talk how I never grow tired of hearing life, no matter how bad or good it is going to be. Detroit is my city, nowhere close to being boring or nothing worthwhile, so don't speak on my city if you haven't lived in it.
And that's on period. Please give it up for Faithful. So that's our segment. Is there an open mic list so that I can hear from you? So this first artist that's coming up to the stage, first of all, give it up for the artists that have already taken the stage. Thank you to our seasoned artists and to our youth poets. Thank you so much. So the first artist on our open mic, we invite you to do one piece. Please put your hands together for St. Chris. Show St. Chris some love.
Hey, y'all. Man, it's a lot of people. Is it anybody's first time coming to a poetry event? That's great. I like to see that because poetry is a really beautiful thing, especially with these people and the older people. No offense to y'all just older than them. But listen though. These are really young people, and I think they're younger than me, and they are really good, and this inspires me because every poetry event I go to, I'm the youngest person, so it's cool seeing younger people than me do poetry. It's just like really inspiring.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And I want to say one more thing. So I had a dream last night. I'm a waiter at a nursing home, and I was making my own food and not helping the people I'm supposed to be waiting on. And I woke up from the dream. I believe, my name is St. Chris because I'm a Christian, and I believe dreams have messages in them. And the message I got from that dream is stop focusing on yourself and go solve the person who you're supposed to be waiting on. Like wherever you're serving, if you keep looking at yourself and keep trying to focus all on yourself, look at what you're supposed to be serving. If that's your music career, if that's your own talents or abilities, if that's your poetry, serve that. What I serve is Jesus, though. And the poem I will be doing is called More Than Words. Oh, how great are you? I thank you for the peace that surpasses all understanding. And may that peace rule in my heart. It will be joyful, pleasing. Let us set a spark, a jealous one that wants to know the mind of the Creator, the one who redeems all the wrong, the one who shelters and provides homes. It's our Savior, the one with all that flavor. It's the one who caters to our needs. It's so good, it's like, baby, please, shoo! But question, why is that the only time we want to bless people? My God want to bless people all the time. For real, though, it's beyond the rhymes. Let's be blessings for others before the suns get too hot and we all melt away like butter. Or the sun is just going to burn out and we all freeze. Food for thought. But you get the point. Can you please join this movement Can you please join this movement and be a blessing for others? And why would you tell me no? Don't you want to see the human race grow? Don't you want to help fix the problems on other people? Don't you want to help fix the potholes on other people past the glory? You know the roads. You know how it is driving on these streets. It's bump after bump while you're driving in the D. So help others with their problems because we can be the key. Sometimes God uses us to help people get free. Some people got a family with mouths they got to feed. Some people trying to get sober, and you still gonna ask them if they trying to smoke some weed. Some people trying to be rooted in good soul, but you're gonna keep pissing on where they planted and keep cutting down their trees. I know I want peace, but just don't know where to plant the seed. I know y'all can't help because it's in you, and it's also in me. You see, God dwells in us, don't you see? But you're not God, but you're still a king or a queen. So be a blessing and show your wisdom and love and even food with people. And just don't fall into selfishness and fall into greed. Poem.
Please show your love for St. Chris. That's great to hear a new artist come and hit the stage. This next artist is an old fave. She is a member of the InsideOut 2025 Youth Advisory Board. She's a graduating senior and was a member of our youth performance troupe as well. I'm delighted to bring her to the stage. Please put your hands together for Charisma Holly. Charisma is making a dynamic entrance, okay? You better walk, okay?
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. So my name is Charisma Holly, and I am a 17-year-old spoken word artist from Detroit. I have been with Inside Out for 4 years now, and if I can say anything about the program, it is a place of transformation and community. I am definitely not the same scared 13-year-old that I was when I joined the program, and after so many birthday cakes, that kid could not hold a candle to the person that I am today thanks to this program. The amazing youth poets that you heard from earlier today in the youth performance troupe just happen to be some of my closest friends, and I'm so grateful to be with them here today. And in my vision for Detroit, Inside Out is always a part of it. With that, if I wake up in Detroit 25 years in the future, there better still be better made chips stacked on shelves, officially making them 120 years old, sold next to 2-liter bottles of Faygo liquid gold in the summer months. The radio plays Marvin Gaye Motown sound alongside J Dilla beats as I tell my future kids, y'all don't know nothing about these. I imagine taking them to see the Riverwalk I write poems about, and Belle Isle, and Urban Soul, and spend the day in the classic Cass corridor, dubbed Midtown, as I tell nostalgic stories for the city we are in right now. Right now, I am 17, and whenever someone asks me what being a Detroiter means, I spell it out backwards from T to D, with the last T in Detroit being for technology, where Michigan Central New Lab expands and Black Tech Saturdays puts laptops in the hands of tomorrow's innovators. I, for investment in the future of our city, in my head, we plant flowers in front of the King homes where my cousins play tag in the grass, where there are no longer shards of glass stuck in shoes after a game of football, where there are desks in every classroom of every building labeled public school, bringing books to each library and buying back the property to repurpose previous vacancies. The O in Detroit is for ongoing growth, where wishes for economic prosperity have the opportunity to become reality. The R is for revitalization. Real estate and real education are key to bringing the city to its true potential. Imagine those empty eyes of boarded up abandoned houses bought and given new life, new lights, porches, roofs, roots planted right here, where generational wealth is built up year by year. The T stands for transformation.
the manifestations of all our wildest dreams, creations that seem hypothetical, but can be achieved. What if we had electric car charging streets all around the city to reduce the gray clouds of pollution by promoting the expansion of electric cars? What if we planted gardens in every community to feed those in need, to clean the smog like cigarette smoke from factories so the kids with asthma in my classes have higher quality air to breathe? What if we had creative spaces, murals, and open mics on the east side, west side, anywhere where arts and community can collide? I can see a Detroit where my aunt parks at Walmart and her car does not get broken into. The Lions really do win the Super Bowl. And we actually fix the roads, as impossible as it all sounds. I know if we can hope, then we are capable of anything, everything. The E means elevated enterprise. Small-owned businesses growing right in front of your eyes. Neon signs, downtown stores, City Bird, auto bike, high schoolers already sizing up supply chains, crochet, bake, making a custom pillowcase, because the side hustlers of today are the entrepreneurs of the future. As long as we continue to believe in the progress we see and the visions that we will someday make into reality. Because in the Detroit city, the D has always been for dreams. Thank you.
Wow, that was the open mic. Okay, so I'm never rendered speechless. I'm so good at this. All right, please give it up for Charisma. Wow. You want to read, right? Okay, I'll get your name on the list, okay? This next artist coming up to the stage is Amar Man-Carr. Please welcome Amar to the stage. I'm flustered after that poem.
Thank you for sharing this space with me. I'm kind of starting my creative poetry work recently. I'm publishing a book. It's called Love, Truth, and Divine. Be releasing on Amazon on March 14th. Thank you. I went to Wayne State University, so yeah, Detroit. Yay. Okay, so I'll be reading one poem. Song of a Road. I, the busy road, have seen many buses full of human desires, traveling on my nerves, crisscrossing my labyrinths, most of them claiming love, but not living, love supreme. In the 60s, I saw many buses full of hippies, full of love and their style zippy, then fading away in a jiffy. Every 4 years, buses full of love displaying political activities. Then fading away in old pages of history. Every year, buses taking loving young guys to Washington, D.C., hoping but not succeeding to add to forefathers' writings in addition to life, the pursuit of happiness and liberty, love, humanity. With constant grinding of myself with pain and heavy load, I have learned that love, truth, and divine are one. When your love can stand in the truth of cosmic consciousness, in the truth of oneness, in truth, and know death and the divine are interchangeable. Before accepting the divine can accept death. Death for love, death in love, death with love. Then you will be living and riding on my preferred bus. It can take you to many places, even to eternity. Love the road. Yeah. book be releasing on 14th on Amazon. Love, Truth, and Divine.
The open mic is coming for the throats of the poets that came, of the contracted poets. This open mic said, y'all ain't nothing, okay. So the folks that are currently on the open mic is all that I can take at this point in the interest of time. The next artist coming up to the stage is Calfani. Show Calfani some love. Did I say it right? Okay, put your hands together for Calfani.
I turned 25 last month, so I just want to shout out Anaya real quick because you helped clarify my station in life. What up, Mac? This I'm an MC, I'm a rapper, and this is a verse from a song that I just wrote, and it actually is a reflection on when I was 17. Virtuosic hood poet, I learned my flow from Dirty Low. If he's still writing where he's at in life, I know as y'all should know that he's the GOAT, unspoken. My path in life presented forks in the road, ridden with spokes. Never take blessings for granted. On God timing, I can't try to micromanage. Spoken out of turn, mind your manners. I was a student before, I'll be until I'm dead. Westside Detroit, descendants of KRS, got the Greenfield blues. And taking medicine with a laureate choose. The suffering, can you see it? The light of it surrounds you, the love will enfold you. The power gonna protect you, the presence is over. So even if I'm deep beneath the surface, as I'm reaching for the light above my head, I know it's worth it. Move without a purpose, one step follows the other, finding footholds. Reaching through the, climbing to the sun through this rubble. Dirt mixing with sweat, mixing with blood around my eyes, under my nails, and it's irony on my tongue. And affirmation escapes. I see the look on your face, and things slip into place. I'm okay. Thank you.
They coming for our throats a little bit, huh? Elise might start looking at the, I don't know, I think they came and took our job a little bit, huh? Hey, Elise, please. There is room. You know what, Miss Lila has said the truth. There is room for everybody in Detroit. There's room for, y'all not gonna make me cry. I'm gonna get through my job, okay? This next artist coming to the stage is NC Strong. Show NC Strong some love as they glide to the stage. That outfit is nice. Thank you. Styling and profiling.
Hello, everyone.
I mean, hit the toe.
Who am I? I am just a guy. I am just a guy with luscious, thick brown thighs. Who am I? I am just a wife trying to navigate this life. Who am I? I'm a black queen, no matter how I'm seen. Who am I? I am a queer, always gotta keep my strength near. Thank you.
NC Strong walked off the stage like a mic drop, right? Next artist coming up to the stage, Shelby Shaw. Show Shelby some love.
So hey everyone, my name is Shelby Shaw. I'm not from Detroit, I'm from Alma, which is about 2.5 hours north of here. You're from Alma? No way. That's awesome. I know, I love that. I was gonna say I felt alone in the room a little bit, but that's all right. So I just wanted to say really quick before I go that like when I come to these events, which I only get down here like once a year, they stick with me through the whole year. So I really wanted to say thank you to Phoenix as we're all here. Can I get some thank yous from everybody? I came to an event. It was at like a park that's on the Riverwalk. You guys probably know the name, but I don't know what it's called. Okay, yep. And it was like very moving, but that's the inspiration that I take with me and I try to, bring to my communities. So I just really wanted to thank you for doing these types of things and everybody who puts these things together. It has a further reach than you guys know. And like, I will remember y'all for the rest of my years. I'm thinking and like looking for inspiration. Yeah. So on that note, as I'm talking to y'all, I turn 30 next month, and so they probably think that I wrote in here on my dinosaur. Yeah, they're like, that's a grandma. So I have been writing and reflecting on my 20s, and the poem I wrote today and want to perform, it is an ode to my 20s, and the only thing you have to know about me is that I was a band director for 5 years, and I'm no longer a band director, so you'll see that influenced, and you'll see it influenced in the name. It's called Muting the Metronome. I used to think that the grind would save me. I thought if I kept my hands full, I'd never have to feel the weight of empty palms. I kept my schedule stuffed, my calendar crammed, stretched my spine across syllabi and symphonies, and thought if I moved fast enough, no one would notice that I was never standing still. But standing still is not the same as being stuck, and running is not the same as being free. And I spent this past decade learning the difference. I was 20, horn in my hand, 3 years deep, hot breath on brass, too busy to breathe. Zumba sweat, summer semesters, grading papers, grading myself, coaching guards, conducting bands, conducting exhaustion. 1, 2, I know what to do. Too much, but everybody called it ambition, so I called it home. I mistook exhaustion for excellence. I mistook movement for meaning, mistook success for something I could hold in my hands instead of something I had to feel in my bones. I was 25 when the world hit pause. The metronome stopped that march, and in May, I heard my own voice for the first time in years. I did not miss the classroom. I did not miss the rush. I did not miss the version of me who never let herself stay still. And the silence asked me, who are you if you're not what you do? Who are you if you're not doing anything at all? And I sat with that question, and I sat with it until it asked itself again and again and again, eventually between hyperventilating huffs and meals that I could not eat. And I reminded myself eventually that Detroit is not a city that stops, even in the wreckage, even in the layoffs, even in the factories shut their eyes when the neon flickered, when the pistons lost their shine, the wheel still turned, but I didn't know how to sit still. And I sat with my ghosts, and eventually my therapist and I, we gave them names: severe anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress with delayed onset. I gave them their seat, I poured them their tea, and I told them they could stay as long as they learned how to be quiet. I was 27 when I stopped waiting for permission. When I looked at my name and said, Shelby Shaw, that's not a bad pen name at all. When I listened to my voice and said it belongs in the air and not just on the page. When I looked at myself and said, you are not too much, you are not too little, you are exactly what you were meant to be. And if you can forgive, then Shelby, you can be free. I picked up painting, I picked up poetry, I picked up the pieces of myself that I had left behind in green rooms and grading books, on podiums and pianos, in the spaces between syllables where I had once swallowed my own voice. And I stood still, and the ground did not crack beneath me. And I spoke, and my voice did not shake. I was 29 when I decided to be the human embodiment of love. Love is patient, love is kind. No, Shelby is patient, Shelby is kind. And love, in its endless revisions, in its late night rewrites, in its unexpected sequels, showed up where I had left space for it. I lost one friend, I lost two friends, but found another. Proof that absence is only an invitation for something new. That when one voice fades, another enters the chorus, that hands once empty can be filled again. And the universe said, see, I will never leave you empty-handed.
And I believed it. I believed the universe, so I wrote words that were meant to be spoken, read poems at weddings, watched the water ripple beneath my board, and I knew for the first time that I did not have to chase joy. I could stand still and joy would find me. Now I am just about 30 and I am no longer running. I am no longer proving, no longer waiting for applause, no longer holding my breath between moments, between milestones, between the past and the future, like the present is something that I have to earn. I do not need to outrun the silence. I do not need to overfill my hands. I am not Michelle Yeoh. I do not need to hold everything everywhere all at once. I just need to stand still. Feel the ground beneath me and know that I am home. I am not lost. I'm not behind. I have always been leading myself here. I used to think the grind would save me. I thought I had to race. I thought I had to chase. I thought if I'd hurried that I'd be worthy. But no, I'm letting life find me this year when I turn 30.
So Shelby is an honorary member of the Inside Out Youth Performance Troupe, you know. So she technically worked for us, all right? That was a dynamic poem, Shelby. Thank you. And thank you for the words that you spoke over these babies about how their work, how often you're able to get here and how their work expands. That actually plays into the mission of Inside Out, that these voices are carried out to the wider world. And so thank you for giving us a glimpse of what our wider world does, because, baby, you cold with the pen, okay? Okay. This last poet coming up on our open mic is someone who came in and coached our kids. They are a dedicated slam poet, dynamic, high energy. Y'all thought Galaxy was something, okay? This brother is high energy. I'm so grateful that he'll be able to close this mic out. Please give it up for my friend, Mac Thursday. Show him some love.
Hello. So I heard that this was like we're doing Detroit poems, so I wrote a Detroit poem. Okay. When people ask me where I'm from, I say, y'all want to go to Coney? I say a land where joy is a road. I say northwest to southwest to midwest to 6 Mile to Brick Mile. I'm from Red Lobster, Benihana, and Mexican Town restaurants after special occasions only, from gunshot lullabies, pit bull gate barkings. I'm from ice cream trucks and camion de taqueria. I'm from the sound of the chemtrail jet planes flying above all at the same time. And how we never got enough of that. Where I'm from, and never hearing either without excitement. I'm from pistol whips to ass whips, from they shooting and fireworks in March and not knowing the difference between either. I'm from quickly learning to discern the difference between either. I'm from the Section 8 foreclosure of the first wild feral mayor of a first house my dad ever dared to domesticate for us, all for us. What a wild beast owning 3 homes can be. I'm from my dad losing everything but his small savings to a 2008 Great Depression and real estate crashings. I'm from dad's got a plan and vacant houses and squatting and broken windows and even brokener English. I say, I'll fix it for my English. I'm from foreshadowing. I say, yo daría que. Like I'm from sidewalk chalk to chalk outlines. Like CD bus to bus boy. Like plant to factory to plant to plant to factory to factory to plant. Like all the men in my family. Like guilty to guilty. I say I'm from guilty. And of course, you'd never believe me, and how I can never say that word without pride lingering on my breath. How my father makes sure of it. Say, be proud, boy, this is all yours. And how I made it out, how I'm still alive, how I am educated, how I'm good. how I'm guilty. They say you can keep the trouble out the boy, but you can never be able to keep the trouble out of the boy. Never be able to get the ringing of danger out of his ear. How imposter syndrome always sets in to make safety look more hazardous than danger. They say you can get the nigga out the ghetto, but you'll never be able to remove the ain't from his going nowhere, the homeliness from his post-trauma, and so how he'll always go back to safety and or danger and or guilty and or where he's from, because boy, this is normal for me. I'm from too close a proximity to the word incarceration. I'm from unlucky uncles and bail checks written in guilt, and how it always goes back to that word. I'm from not following up doctor's appointments and beberarub instead. I'm from, aw shit, here we go again, and never catching a break because breaks mean not working, and not working mean you want to be a bum sitting on the corner begging. You want to be a beggar, get up. You ain't gonna end up like your uncles. I'm from the secret tears in the back seat where I see them, my uncles, street men, and how the streets have a perm history sweated down to the root of the pavement that tastes like a culture forgotten, tastes like dead uncles and nearly dead aunties, tastes like welfare baby fraudulent check documents and food stamps written for sale, tastes like dandelion cousins who's got stuck between the concrete cracks while running, got stuck while running, tastes like running and running and running and running and running out of breath, but never making it to the finish line, and dreaming and dreaming and dreaming, but never being woke enough to make it out of reality. Sounds like a fantasy when the noise cancellation of gentrified ceiling shuts it all out. I'm from the red line dreams of musicians who sound like where I'm from. My dad's a rapper, and getting his music played on FM 98 WJLB. What's next on the menu? And his break is coming any second now, which means not working, which means what? Oh, which means not working, and not working means dad's never catching that break, because breaks and breaks and break and breaking. And but where I'm from, we stand stone strong tall with an iron fist that nearly seems to levitate. When I say where I'm from, we say I'm floating or cruising or finna slide or riding clean on chrome 45s, or cruising must mean I'm from 97.9, the D's, hip hop and R&B, and breaks that never come. I'm from the Bushman and Dr. Darius, from Northland to Plymouth to Joy Road to Joy and Joy and Joy, and Artesian from Tireman to Oakman, and Livernois and Schaefer and Finkel. Yes, I'm from the West Side. From Schaefer to Phoenix, to Finkel and Werner Highway. I'm from Southfield Freeway fuck-ups and V98.7. I'm from the word of the day and 102.7 before the gospel came and fucked up our shit. I'm from Coco and Foolish and Mr. Chase in the morning, and I'm from a citywide upward that was them catching their big break, which means I'm from guilty, which means I'm from the city that never shatters but crumbles anyway, where the chips are always on our shoulder, are better made, where Kwame killing Patrick was a joke about Kwame killing Patrick, and making a killing on O'Shea, cousin sleepovers, comedy clubs, and parents' first house on Tireman, which means I'm from bankruptcy, which means I'm from the giant slide, being on Belle Isle before the white people came and Ginger fucked up everything. I'm from guilty, how I wish there was something we could have known better on how to run this city. I'm from when the State Fair was on State Fair Street, before we were too ghetto and Livonia saved it from us. I'm from something always being saved from us and never for us, except for this poem. For us, guilty is charged.
Well, to our open micers, thanks for making sure that every artist got fired today for your incredible performance. Give it up to the open mic. Y'all killed it. Can we invite the artist to the featured artist to come up to the stage? Miss Lila is we're going to open up the floor for some questions. You all can ask any of the featured artists that performed to answer them. You may direct them. If you don't know their names, just say, hey, you. We won't be offended. One more time for every single artist that's taken the stage.
All right, so we are technically at time, but of course we cannot leave you without the opportunity to ask some questions. So Charisma is going to be coming around with the mic. We will take a few questions. Please do raise your hand if you have a question for one of our artists. Can I get one more round of applause for everyone who has spoken today?
I'm Cal Finey again. Let me show you my sense of humor, because I thought of this question while I was over there. If you're over 25, could you please share what advice you would give to your 25-year-old self?
Okay. Would you like advice about like your poetry career, and if that, like, what aspect are you asking for advice? Right, I'm saying like, right.
No, you're talking to your 25-year-old self. Not him.
I'm saying I wanted to know if he wanted to know like about poetry or just. Oh, like what am I just saying to my 25-year-old self? Okay.
You get it now? Like,
Yeah, you can go first. I was making sure.
She's trying to give another question. Like, I like your question, but I have another answer. So my 25-year-old self actually met Khan. And when I was working with a poet named Vivi Francis, who decided to mentor a bunch of poets who were really trying to figure out what we were doing with what we were doing on the mic, and trying to figure out how we would go take it a little bit deeper, wherever we wanted to go in that. That could have been performance or publishing, whatnot. I think what I would have said to my 25-year-old self is to really, like, care for that time that I had with them, because now we're everywhere. We're in Texas, we're here, we're out on the East Coast doing incredible work all over the country, but Detroit doesn't have the infrastructure to keep its talent. And so for me, I would say, like, please hold on to cherish those times of workshop that we were doing once a month. We were in each other's houses building and stuff, and to, like, just don't force it, just enjoy it and be present in that moment, because all of the crews that you're gonna get to work with, that's gonna be very important. And just really don't think about stuff that you don't have. Really take inventory of what you have and work with what you got.
Okay, I'm ready to answer your question now. If I was to give my 25-year-old self advice, it's probably two main things I would say. The first thing I would say is do it scared. So many times we run away from opportunities because we just don't know the outcome. And you just got to do it. And the second thing, moving into that same advice that I got, that I use all through my life, is finished is better than perfect. So we are so wrapped up in trying to make things perfect, when in reality, if you try and you put something out, you get so much feedback, and that helps you improve. You have to do the thing to be good at the thing. You can't just think about doing the thing, you gotta do it. So even if you're scared, even if you're shaking, you hear what they said about my girl Hidden right here. When she first started, but y'all would never be able to tell, because she put that fear aside and she kept doing the thing. So keep doing the thing, do it scared. It don't have to be perfect. It is good enough, you are good enough.
Okay. 20. I know. I'll be 49 this year. For me, at 25, I was just about to encompass, I believe, on the verge of being a fatherhood. I got married at 30. So my early years, starting at around 25, is when I really had to embrace the aspect of balancing art and family. Sometimes, well, a lot of times art won more than maybe it should have. And so, hey, for those that plan on being parents whenever, cherish the years you have when your kids are little. Grown kids are cool, you hang out with them, but I want my babies back. I want my 3 and 4 and 5-year-olds back. Thank you.
Shaking in the audience right now.
Right. Go ahead. Introduce yourself.
Christian, this is for anybody. What's your favorite saying or quote?
Period.
I'll go ahead and go because I always have this in my back arsenal ready to be said. A quote from one of the last things Ghassan Kanafani ever wrote. It was the last line in his last piece before he was assassinated, and it's that ideas never die. And the context of that line basically is you can kill us, you can take from us, but there's always going to be somebody like-minded. There's always going to be a freedom fighter. There's always going to be someone willing to be a martyr. There's always going to be someone who holds the same belief and will carry on legacy. Ideas never die. You just got to think about it.
I'm gonna say the last 3 lines of Lucille Clifton's poem, which I think we all should walk with because these times are trying us. So won't you celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and failed. They will fail.
My favorite, which I lean on a lot, is, and I'm sure everybody has heard this, is not worrying about things I have no control over. Because as an artist of any medium, you probably, the losses mount up. You face rejection letters, rejection emails, unreturned calls and messages. But what you have control, you always have control over the quality and effort you put into your work. Whether somebody accepts it or gives you the grant of the fellowship opportunity, but I've learned just, hey, if anything, slam poetry got me used to taking a whole lot of L's. So I'm kind of bulletproof in that aspect. So I put it out there, and whatever happens, happens.
For me, my quote is the one that Nandi put out, and it's a tattoo. I got it branded on me. But the second quote that I say quite often is that love is the only currency. And love is holding everybody in this room. Y'all could have been left. This shit was over at 2:30. And you all are held captive in this room, all these different faces, socio-political, economic backgrounds, all of these different energies are held in this space by the only true currency, and that is love.
Okay. Hi, my name is Susie Volovich. This was really beautiful. And I wanted to ask, what is it like, what is the process like? How do you go about crafting a tribute to a city? How do you begin?
Okay. I think that Detroit is a city full of inspiration, in my opinion. And, it's like one of the biggest things I tell people about making art or writing is just to do it. Because you can talk about doing it, you can get all the equipment to do it, you can get all this fancy stuff, but if you don't do it, you won't do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit down here with my fancy little college grade notebook with a fancy pen, and I'm just gonna sit there and look at the page. And if I don't write anything down, it doesn't mean anything. And I could do that with a random pencil I find on the floor. You know what I'm saying? But I think that when you grow up and you live in Detroit, there are so many things that we learn as Detroiters that we don't realize until we step outside of our little bubble, that it's like, oh, this isn't normal. Most people aren't this prideful about their city, okay? And it's weird for me, I guess, because I come from a more international outlook on it. I wasn't born here. I was raised in Detroit. I was born in Shanghai, China. But I guess I always look at the parallels between, I guess, like Chinese government and American government, and it's like people like to think that they're so different, but there's so many similarities you really, really do not notice. And I guess I think of Detroit as a city of immigrants and people who have suffered and people who have worked and people that have been put down and they overcome it all. And I think that in and of itself is inspirational. So that's my answer to that.
Oh, okay. I didn't think my mic was working. But how I went about crafting my bad. How I went about like crafting my Detroit poem was I just took things that I did when I was like a little kid. Me and my mama, we would just go around the city. We went to the river walk. We'd go to Coney Island at nighttime. We would be at the we would be like on the riverside and we would just look at the river just glistening. And it just, when I wrote this poem, it really brought me back to those times. And I'm like leaving like for college soon. I'm going to Fisk. So yes, on the Fisk. So when I was writing that poem, I was like, dang, I'm really gonna miss Detroit because this is my home. So yeah, that's how I went about it.
How I went about writing this poem is, like Faith said, a lot of nostalgia that comes from Detroit. A lot of things that, like I said, I haven't really realized a lot of good things that I did, or a lot of things that were so detrimental to my life, or like to my experience living in Detroit. So it's like having that reflection and having that moment of being like, dang, I'm really living here. Like I was really born and raised here. And not a lot of people are born and raised here, but they really want to be. Mm-hmm. So they try to steal our swag. Mm-hmm. They try to steal it. And it's like when you try to make something and when you try to be something that you aren't, it's not the same as when you see it from someone who actually lives here and someone who actually has been born and raised here. So it's like just that moment of reflection and that moment of being like, man, this place is actually, no matter what people say about it, this place is gorgeous. Mm-hmm. Like the history is gorgeous. The people who live here are gorgeous. Like, it's just so beautiful how natural the place is in general. So having that that beauty reflected in my poem is how I went about it mostly.
I think a lot of what everybody is saying, which for me is about intimacy with the city of Detroit. Yeah. You know, we put a lot of value on things that may seem little, but when you breathe life into them, something simple as a quarter bag of chips and a Faygo was like everything when you're 10 years old. Yeah. And the way you can unwrap that to make it your life story in Detroit is everything. You know, I want some. There's a DJ named Jeff Mills who used to go by the Wizard, and he once told me that if he had a gig in Southwest Detroit that night, he would spend the day walking around Southwest Detroit so he could hear what Southwest Detroit sounded like. And that would determine what he wanted to play. That's intimacy. That's the kind of intimacy, we'd like to create from.
So I know that we all have been talking about theme and nostalgia and emotion. I also think that all of us really pay attention to craft. And so I wanted to just get into I'm writing a crown of sonnets because the sonnet is known as a space of confinement. And I think about what happens in the poem is also thinking about this way in which Detroiters are being relegated to spaces and told that they can't move in certain spaces. So even, I didn't read it today, but there's a part where the characters are in Belle Isle and they get told that they have to leave or they can't go out to the suburbs. And so but this idea that Detroit is defiant and will constantly be breaking that confinement. So I think a lot about craft when I'm writing my poems. I'm not only thinking about themes, I'm thinking about how the form is actually going to enact the feeling of what people will find in the poem.
So hard going after a poet laureate. Contrasting, I thought about when I was doing my poem for today, I thought about how I wanted the audience to feel because I am so I think Hidden was saying how deep the pride of Detroit is. People in Detroit are so serious about being from Detroit. In the beginning of my poem, I'm like, I know the password to the question because the first thing they ask you, if you say you're from Detroit, they're gonna be like, what side you from? You know? Exactly. That's the first question that you ask. So I really wanted to bring just kind of a little bit of personality, because that's what I feel like Detroit is. And I wanted to talk about some new age things too, which is why I talked about the Lit Bar and Glamaholic and, She Feet McFly, because Detroit is always known as the Motor City and Ford and Motown. But I'm Motown meets Tiffany Massey, because we are so many things together, and it's not just what we have been known for, it's what we are becoming known for now. Like, we still are trendsetters. We're always gonna be. And so, honestly, when I was writing this poem, I realized, this is not gonna be enough. One poem is not gonna be enough. I have to do a whole book of poems. Yeah, because it's like, I never got to talk about the nostalgia or what I want Detroit to look like 25 years in the future. So just, for me, I always want to represent in my poetry what I love about the city, because it is so much that we can talk about that we don't love. But that's not the reason that I tell people I'm from Detroit when I go out of town. It's not about any of the hardships I experienced or the things and trials and tribulations I have been through. It's about the things that made me strong, and the things that I like about that, and the lessons that I learned, and the things that you learn here that you will never learn anywhere else. And so I think that's just the most important thing to me, is positivity on my city. I don't care what y'all say negative about it, I got plenty of positive things I can add as well.
And playing into who wants to go after Galaxy, I tell y'all shit too much, but in playing to the idea that love is the only currency, for me, Detroit is always the people. And for me, the people are artists, and the artists are often poets in my sphere. My poetry is dedicated, my body art is dedicated to all of the women that I love that are mainly poets. My art, my talent, my gift, my blood, my legacy is to art in this city, because the Detroit art scene saved me. And I know it's, cliche, oh, the art saved me, but literally saved me. I was in a domestic violence situation. I took that domestic violence situation to a cafe in downtown Detroit, and a host with big red hair who is still, a big afro, but now dreadlocks, and now not dreadlocks. He's just a silver fox now. He's still running events in the city, and I remember when I came in with that poem, and I told him on the microphone who was assaulting me. He turned a cafe full of drunken, high, hipster poets into a space that says, hey, everybody, quiet in the room. This person over here likes to hit girls. This girl needs to be able to go home every day. That's how Phoenix was born in this city. That is my origin story. A Detroit artist saved me. And so my dedication, the hardships, the ups and downs, I bleed Detroit artists. It's in the bloodline, it's in the root. And so that's how I Detroit. It's easy for me to communicate and write about Detroit, Ms. Sarah, because I am Detroit. You know what I mean? Okay.
That's beautiful, Phoenix. Thank you so much to all of our artists. We're going to have to leave it there. It is all about Detroit art and Detroit artists. The Detroit showcase of the Detroit collection closes on May 2nd. It's been such a wonderful honor to host each and every one of you. I have cried more today and than I have in this room in the last 4 years. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who has shared their energy with us in this room today. Thank you to all of the artists who continue to make whether anyone hears their call or not.
Thank you all for coming. You may shake hands, hug the poets, consent culture. Just don't run up on people. They are from Detroit, so, But thank you. Thank you for lingering with us. We appreciate you. God bless you. Good afternoon.